Eh,
All right. So, zombie, what do you want to explain what we got going on here?
yeah, so this is, I guess technically an episode point 5, doing a podcast. We're here to do, we're not gonna say the name yet. We're just gonna go with the, T2TA until, we, have some more things figured out.
I'm
But,
doing a lot of work on the backside just to get things together. He has a whole nother set of work. Oh, sorry, my cat needs left out. Keep explaining.
yeah, and, it's just pretty much talking points. Something for us to have a conversation with and, you know, be able to progress a conversation of things that you think about every day, but don't think.
The key idea is that to not have like there's too much. So I did a YouTube short, right? And and this was all Zombie's idea, but it's just the concept of, I guess, Zombie's idea. He's over here, but
Oh, so you're over here on mine, but I'm over here on yours. Like,
yeah, yeah. Can we move these windows? I don't
I
know
don't
if we
know.
can actually. It doesn't matter. Um, so, but that's the other day I did a short, and I thought it was hilarious because it was like, when I say my name is David, you saying Dave, just I pronounce the extra syllable for a reason. And it's just the concept of just like deadpan, just like the dumbest thing to fucking complain about possible. We're more than 13 seconds in, right? Okay, anyways, 15 seconds in.
Yeah,
um it's just dumb things that are complained about, and then Zombie came to me with this idea, and it's like, yeah, you know what? Let's just talk about the actual like stupid things in life. It sounded good. It sounded good. All right, so I picked a subject matter, Zombie. Um and we went with the name for the episode of when does Mandela? And the concept to it is the Mandela Effect. And so this is the way that I posed it to Charles is in Black Ops, like the original Black Ops, there was a situation where like if you were downed, you could do what's called taking the coward's way out. And I remember if you saw somebody take the coward's way out, they'd put the gun up to their head and boom, right? Blow their brains out. But that never actually happened. And so one concept in this is one talking about Mandela effects and like how they kind of affect, like the way like we personally see the world. Because there are Mandela effects that me and him have gone deep into these conversations so much so that like we had to like stop because it breaks your fucking head. But the other side to that is like, where could those come from? I have my own opinion. I'll share that, but I'm sure Charles has his
so
opinion as well.
I did agree. I do remember the coward's way. I remember the gun going. You don't see the gun pull the trigger, you just see him pull the gun, and it disappears off screen, and then white screen,
Yeah.
signifying that you took the coward's way out in the game. Supposedly, it never happened. I remember
There's a
it.
whole video. There's a
Um,
whole video I just watched
I
about
know,
it.
I believe you, because let's face it, there's a lot of Mandela effects that just aren't. Um, but I have my opinions on Mandela effects. Personal opinions, kinda based in science, but also unprovable, but, you know, science.
So the large aspect to this is, we've had those you have the Berenstein versus the Berenstein Bears, and that one was a deep argument with him because I hadn't really heard of Mandela effects at the time. And then he goes off and he's like, David, is it Berenstein or Berenstain? And I'm like, Beren Berenstein Bears. And he's like, are you sure about that? And I Google it, And I'm like, no, dude, like, because we're talking on the phone, and we're driving around doing DoorDash or something at that time, and I go to send a screenshot to him, and I read it, and I'm like, what the fuck, Berenstain? When did this become a thing? What the hell?
So bringing I've also got a list of examples, 54 specifically examples, but um what's first off, let's start with what's your theory of what creates a Mandela effect?
All right, so my theory on what creates a Mandela effect is specifically emotional connection, right? A lot of these types of situations happen in young adult life and childhood and whatnot throughout adolescence, right? So being personally connected into a game like Call of Duty, right? It really does suck you in. It pulls you into it. You become emotionally invested, right? The human brain is a crazy thing. It can come up with as much information as it wants and fill in the blanks. That's the same reason why, if you look over at a blinking light, look away, and then look back, you'll never know that it actually blinked. Even if it happened to be off at the very moment that you're going into it, your brain says that light's on. So we will actually fill in real time, light is still on, and you can play with those ideas, right? So your brain already is very limited on what it can actually intake, because realistically your body is like a computer, right? It's going to try and reduce its load as much as possible, but it's also creative. All of us have that ability to be creative. So you get emotionally invested into it. We all know what coward's way out means, right? And so collectively, because human beings tend to think the same, we will fill in things like coward's way out, gun to the head, right?
Yeah.
And then you have Fruit of the Loom, right? It's a pile of fruit. While you're a child, just for a perfect example, we've all seen pictures where you have the cornucopia and everything, right? Your brain starts to mesh these ideas together. And so, Fruit of the Loom, somebody says to you, hey, Fruit of the Loom had a cornucopia in it. Do you remember that? Well, there's no ever record of it. Companies are very specific about making sure that they keep track of every logo that they've had. And there's legal reasons why they have to do that. So this way they protect their brand identity. So if Fruit of the Loom comes in and says, we've never had a cornucopia, guess what? They probably never had a cornucopia. But because
Sorry to cut you off,
no, go
but
for it.
I remember specifically having clothes that had the cornucopia. And I like as if it was yesterday that I picked up the wife beaters, the A shirts that
Yeah,
had the cornucopia tag because I used to wear them every single day. I mean, I'm an old school Italian, Guido. You know,
yeah, yeah.
I used to walk around with the
I
chin
remember them
strap
on my
and
wife beaters.
you
Yeah, yeah, I remember
know,
them on my wife beaters and stuff like that too. Yeah,
but I remember very specifically that it did have the cornucopia on it.
I do too. I still see the cornucopia in my head. I know that it's inaccurate. However, I refuse to believe otherwise.
So one of my theories, and it is something that we kind of brought up earlier, um, is there's the theory that immortality is a thing. And what it's called is quantum immortality. When you die in one life, you just start at the same point in another. All of these lines of existence are very, very similar or as similar as possible. So I think certain major events can cause, it's a death. Um, the- One of the theories is the Large
You've got
Hadron
to be
Collider.
advertiser friendly with this one, zombie. It's unalive.
Unalive. I'm
Unalive.
sorry.
Yes.
But the Large Hadron Collider and at CERN, when I remember very specifically that it was fired up years and years ago, not just like 2 years ago, like when everybody thought. But I remember like I was still in high school when I first heard of the Hadron Collider being turned on. But the last time that it was turned on, they were like, "Oh, it's the first time it's been turned on." But I remember in high school that it was turned on. I was like 16, 17. So what happened to that time? That's, you know, but if we go with, physics and, the idea of string theory and all of that with, you know, the idea of quantum immortality where just little things could change. Like, yes, in a lifetime, me and you remember a cornucopia. A bunch of people could remember it, but maybe this time it didn't.
Yeah. And there's a lot of interesting theories that go along with it. On my end of it, while I do come from like a spiritual background, religious perspectives, and all of that, I try to, and I'm sure it annoys the living hell out of Charles because there's got to be times where it's like I'm sitting there going, scientifically, it makes perfect sense because of this. And it's like, no, but like, la la la. And it's like, no, 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 no. Scientifically, it does not make sense for this to happen this way. It would make more sense for it to be this direction. And I can see your thing there with just a giant Mandela on the screen. Um, so it's and that comes because of my religious bent, right? I don't. Why the hell is my mic not open throating here? What the fuck? Give me a second. What the hell? Wait. Ba ba ba. Why the hell is that doing that? Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3. What the? This is why we need a test. Yeah, there we go. This is why we need a test episode. So, anyways, what I was saying because life. Anyways, so it probably largely annoys the hell out of Charles, because I come from a heavy religious background, right? But I see things from a observable and scientific background, right? In my mind, there's a difference between faith and how things function, right? You can believe in something, but how does it actually function? I can't prove that God exists and I can't prove that God doesn't exist. So guess what? I choose not to take an argument on that and I just go off with my own opinion. So and Charles would be like, no, 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 it makes sense because of this. And I'm like, that makes zero sense because of this. And we get into arguments over it, not actual fights, just just the dumbest fucking arguments possible. Um, and so what makes the most rational sense, even down to Fruit of the Loom, is just cultural influence mixed with the generations that see it, right? You're not going to go to a Gen Zer and they're going to say, "Oh yeah, I absolutely remember the cornucopia." It's going to be somebody that's in that millennial type time frame, or the very early Gen Zers, where you're seeing that type of mental, gymnastics that creates these things. But at the same time, we have, my opinion on how it's possible. At the same time, the concept that you somehow died and you're in the next version of you that's just been on autopilot waiting for
Unalive.
you to arrive. Oh, I'm so sorry. My deepest apologies, Samsung. I didn't mean to offend you. And there goes that sponsorship opportunity in the future.
Not a sponsor.
But that's okay. That's okay. I'm a Pixel fan, so
um, I don't just I don't I
Apple.
don't know.
Here's the thing. If the only thing is that you always have to be the good guy because Apple will not let the bad guy in any content that we do
No,
have an iPhone. They will sue us.
but the thing is so like you like the it's not that they're running on autopilot. It's that every single existence is its own life. It's all happening simultaneously, but not necessarily, you know, like I'm sitting here, but so are infinite amounts of me doing the same thing.
But if we're dealing with a multiverse in that way, because that would still be the same construct as a multiverse. If we're dealing with a multiverse in that way, you they would all have to have equally, you are sitting here, right? But instead, in one other multiverse, you're sitting here, but here is also my garage instead of your garage.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
but that's always
and
still a
instead of
possibility.
doing an episode about about Mandela effects, you're talking about the Frio. I wanted to mispronounce that on purpose because I don't want to get
So
other issues.
so okay, here's a question for you. Well, first off, the other theory on the Mandela effect is that um it's psychosis. It's a general psychosis that, just like people can get sick just because they think about it. You see one person throwing up,
Yeah,
you're gonna
yeah,
throw up.
yeah.
You
So
see
I've
somebody with
convinced myself
hives,
that I have a
yes,
cold. Yeah.
your brain plays those tricks.
Yeah, all the time.
You
Which
know,
is where part of my opinion of where the Mandela effect actually comes from is your brain can actually make you sick, even though you're not sick.
just like I just read, one of these Mandela effects and Scooby Doo. We all remember watching Scooby Doo.
Oh no. Okay.
I remember Scooby Doo, oh, well, Shaggy specifically, having an Adam's apple. His neck was kind of bent to
Yeah, yeah,
very,
yeah, yeah.
nah,
I
no, he didn't.
already know that you're gonna tell me that that's not accurate.
Nope,
I
he didn't
remember
do.
his, and then it jaunted out a little bit.
Yeah, nope. Mickey Mouse, the old black and white Mickey Mouse. I remember having suspenders. He didn't.
See, this is why we're not allowed to talk about these subjects long term.
One thing I still think is just Sinbad lying. I remember him playing that movie.
Oh yeah, I know
I
exactly
know
what you're
for a
talking about.
fact that he played in that movie. He was Shazam.
Yes, yes. Sinbad was Shazam. You cannot convince me otherwise.
Nope. Also, Jif Peanut Butter was definitely Jiffy at one point, even though they say it wasn't. It's my
Wait,
favorite peanut butter.
wait. Did they say that it wasn't ever
People swear
Jiffy?
that Jiffy peanut butter back in the day, but we speculate they're combining Jif and Skippy. No,
No,
I
no, it was
remember
Jiffy.
Jiffy. You had Skippy and you had Jiffy,
Yeah.
but people kept confusing them, so they took off the FY at the end and it just became Jif.
Yeah, no. It was Jiffy.
Yes.
I didn't know that that was a thing.
Yep.
Huh.
Um, I mean, a bunch of these are, you know, things that were, yeah, I could believe that, I misremember it, but
Well, it's kind of like the ones where there's like spelling, right?
yeah,
Not Berenstain versus Berenstein, right? Like not specifically that. But like, wasn't there one like with Febreze? Like it's
yeah.
spelled. Yeah,
One had two E's, one only had one. When
yeah,
it
yeah,
actually, like, you know, you would think it had two E's, but it actually only has one. And
yeah.
I don't have a freeze bottle
The
nearby,
only
but
Febreze bottle I have is used as a bleach bottle now, and it
and it
doesn't
doesn't
have
have
the
the label.
label.
Yeah.
Yeah, this way nobody thinks it's fucking Febreze.
But like I'm just like looking at some of these and like, yeah, I remember that. I remember that. Like Pikachu's tail, you know.
Yeah, it has the black on the end of it.
No, it's just yellow. It doesn't have the black at the end of it.
Yeah, no. I'm
But
saying
like,
that
yeah.
I know what you're talking about. I
But
remember it having black on it. So
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I mean,
So
a bunch of these are
that's
just
just them
ones that
trying to censor. That's just them trying to censor it.
as far
There
as
is that censorship. There is that censorship thing that's going on to where they make anime and manga not
Yeah,
have, which is total bullshit.
well, if you watch an anime over in Japan, it is different than when you watch it here. You could have a
Yeah,
straight Japanese version, but since it's remade for America, even though it's all in Japanese, it's still a different show.
which is that I don't want to get too in depth into this concept, but like, is that technically a form of cultural appropriation? You know how much I hate that phrase, but
Um, I don't know if it would be considered cultural appropriation. I just think that there's some
well,
things that Americans just aren't good with. We're Yeah, you got to remember this country was based off of prudeness,
yeah, yeah,
so having things like you know our anime usually doesn't have you know big sex scenes. Usually, kind of like there for a couple seconds if you're watching an MA version of a show, and then
yeah.
it's over. In Japan, it takes like, you know, 15 minutes.
Bible Black is the original that plays on live TV. No, that is a reference. Do not go look that up. If you don't know what it is, there is scarring material there. And at the age of 10, it is really not good for you to watch. I'm picking that number because that's how old I was when I watched it.
But no, as far as the Mandela effect, I personally think that it is something that we deal with on a constant basis, but it's also you know, yeah, it could be just psychosis, you know, but
I think it's more likely because a lot of them are things that generally are remembered by people our age, where we're in that millennial group, right? I think that it's largely just kind of the, significance that kind of gets tied to it from, childhood. I think
well,
I think largely.
the other part of that is we are the first generation that played outside
Yeah.
and grew up with technology.
Yeah.
You know, 20 years ago, I didn't have a computer in my pocket. Now I do.
Yeah.
You know,
And that computer is largely more powerful
than the computer that
than
I'm on right now.
any of the shit that I had. Oh yeah, I mean, and the yeah.
Like
I'm
this,
just waiting for
I
Apple to put
can,
an M chip
I,
inside of a phone.
I can play my video games right here from my computer, right here
Yeah,
on this right here, right in my hand.
yeah,
I can be sitting across the house and here, my video games here as long as my computer's on. And I've played video games that way.
yeah,
It's not as nice. It's not as, fluid, but it's also working over a Wi-Fi.
yeah. That's probably largely because you put your fucking Wi-Fi on the other side of the house from your
Yeah.
bedroom. But I think that's your fault.
I mean, it's not like it would probably work amazingly if it was hardwired. Can't hardwire a phone.
No, you can't hardwire an iPhone. You can hardwire my Android, no problem. You're just gonna look really freaking stupid with an Ethernet cord running straight to
Eh,
it.
Why is your phone plugged into the phone line? It's a landline.
We got MagSafe on the back just to charge it.
But
On the topic of MagSafe, Anchor. Why the hell can I use Apple's original MagSafe? No problem with it, but my little deck at work on my solder station, I put it on there, and it goes beep 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 forever because it just says incompatible. How the hell is it incompatible? It works with a damn MagSafe charger. That's a personal gripe.
sounds real personal.
Yeah. I have my problems when it comes to Anchor. My problem is that I love Anchor, but they piss me off.
I mean, Anchor does make some really good stuff, even
Oh
though
yeah.
they're
Oh yeah.
you know they're the devil.
No, just on a sponsorship level. Like you can't go to LTT with them. Linus still uses them. He just
Yeah, he
won't
does.
work with them all day
And
long.
he
It's the
and he
best.
doesn't he doesn't recommend them.
No,
He
yeah,
uses them, but he won't recommend them.
which unfortunately is slightly an endorsement still of
Yep.
the product
But no,
because it
Anchor
is.
Anchor does make good stuff, and it's just their practices. I have an ad starting in 5 seconds, so
Are we done when it comes
I
to this episode?
I think we're done with this episode.
Well, I mean, on
Um,
that end of it, like for the stream, sure, like they'll have the ad that runs. I'm sure nobody's watching us right now.
I
But
have a
I
viewer.
Yeah, I have OBS too. Great, awesome. Um, on that side of it, we will be putting out a little bit more information when it comes to this channel and the content that we're going to be doing over on YouTube here soon enough. But we're going to be doing a little bit more when it comes to these types of topics. So stay tuned. The first couple of episodes are going to be kind of no named, aside from the little hint that exists in there, which I highly doubt that anybody will be able to figure out because we're super geniuses. Don't notice our big brains. Um,
Oh, I gotta keep mine only stays in because of my headphones.
I had to put a hat on mainly because I cut half of it off. But yeah, we're gonna be going over some topics. This was kind of as Charles said, it's a point five episode point five. Just because we want to take a look, see how audio comes through, make some adjustments. We may even re-talk about the Mandela Effect concept if we decide that there's something else that we should do in regards to it, especially because I love all of the viewers here right now. No,
All of them. I mean, my chat is just blowing up. It says, Stream Ellen says, "Want to join the Discord?" Well, here it is, and, you know, got a Discord there, and
Stream Elements Moiety is now live streaming just chatting. And then because I forgot my bit rate to be set because I just wiped my computer. It also Stream Elements is telling me that the stream is live with just chatting. And now it mentioned that there's an ad break.
oh, your Stream Elements says that in the chat?
No, it
Oh,
doesn't. It's just the ad
it's
break
just
thing
there,
popped up.
yeah.
It's still part of the chat box, it's just for my side.
Oh, yeah, I X'd that out, so but
So yeah, we'll be doing more when it comes to this kind of topic. We've got some really good ones that are probably going to take more than the 15 minutes we've been talking about this. And in all honesty, there
yeah,
might be
it
like
was
3 hours.
this one was specifically chosen to just get audios set and, you know, OBS figured out and, you know, video and all that. We're figuring it out as fast as we can. We are also going to talk about what day we wanna record on and what day we're gonna, when and how we're gonna start doing releases for everyone else that can't watch it in live or they just want to hear it again and things like that. But obviously those will be more edited. This is going to be raw here on Twitch. Um anything else from you?
Um, there's one thing that I was going to say. Oh yeah, and then this episode, regardless of how jank it's going to be, will be up on the YouTube channel. There is one side of it that we actually I don't want to go into that just yet. Anyways, you guys have a wonderful day.
And maybe
Um,
next time my beard won't be so mangly and I'll
well, if you
remember to
clean your
straighten it.
damn garage, it would help.
I'm,
You,
I mean,
you know,
all this stuff. I've got too much stuff.
yeah.
I've got a coffee station that I got to set up still. Maybe next time I won't be drinking just water and I'll have some nice espresso.
Instead of me having to use the K cups, I might go over to your house real quick and grab some coffee real quick.
But
Anyways,
um I am gonna end my stream, but I will be back.
and I'm gonna end my stream, but we're gonna be doing some setup for some uh, Linux sides of things and getting some testing done. So if anybody pops on or happens to be watching, that it's not, because Twitch loves to not tell you who's watching.
Yeah.
I'll be back if you want to see some Linux setup.
He's got the Linux set up, and I'm probably gonna play some video games.
Well, that's only because I don't have the $20 to pay for fucking Game Pass right now. All right, see you. See you on the other side,
I'll
brother.
see you on the other side.
So neither of us have a Patreon, right?
Yeah.